presents itself to engage in something quite literally that redefines the experiences that you have from that moment forward. It's with that in mind that if you're not already acquainted, then let me introduce you to the canyons of Los Angeles, California. The San Gabriel mountain range, the backdrop of Los Angeles, California, is host to some of the most incredible canyon roads. This sprawling ribbon of tarmac encaptures every conceivable type of corner in its lengthy 26-mile jaunt around Mount Lawler. It features some of the most iconic roads in California, including the infamous Angeles Crest Highway, Angeles Forest Highway, Hidden Springs, all the way down to Upper Big Tujunga. This rocky alpine adventure took almost 3 decades to complete in the real world, and it's steeped in automotive folklore. Many already herald this as the greatest driving road in Assetto Corsa, and arguably in the entirety of simulated racing. That's not to say that other great roads do not exist. Transfiguration, Tarjo, Glencoe, Trieste, Pacific Highway, all of these are great virtual places to visit, especially in VR, but none of them can match the scale, fluidity, and crucially, the performance of this behemoth of a location and track. Statistically, it's as epic as it looks. 900 square kilometers in range, thousands of feet of elevation changes, and over 500,000 objects come together to create a phenomenal experience. And experience is the key word here, as in a single download, Assetto Corsa is literally transformed into an adventure where all road cars take a fresh new context. You'll find yourself wanting to drive absolutely everything here. Interestingly, driving everything here is precisely what got this adventure started. Within the aeons of channels of YouTube, there's a growing gem called The Smoking Tire, where Matt Farrah reviews 4 cars a week, every week for 52 weeks a year. I say reviews, he jumps into cars and hoons them around these very specific canyon roads. What a job. One particular review featured the Ferrari 488, and it was that review that triggered John, Phoenix77, to pull the trigger on this fantastic mod. It takes a team of highly creative, committed individuals to pull something off like this, and that's precisely what John, Ben, and countless others have achieved here. At version 0.81, this is only just getting started, with hundreds of reviews pouring in as testimony to the experience that it gives and delivers, and also how true to the location that these roads are for those that are fortunate enough to be able to frequent it. Now, even with an empty road, you still need the right car, and as a particular car sparked this whole journey, there could only be one choice for this drive. This is Ferrari's magnificent 2015 488 Gran Turismo Berlinetta, the GTB. This car quite literally needed to be magnificent. Mid-engine supercars are the poster expression of Ferrari, with the last entry, the 458, being generation defining in every single aspect. What followed was the 458 Speciale, which was featured in an earlier video, and that car raised the benchmark even higher. It literally set the tone for what is to be expected to come out of Maranello. This slice of mid-engine V8 excellence marks Ferrari's long-time return to turbocharging. And if the pressure was not already on, remember, the last 3.9 litre twin-turbo V8 that came out of Ferrari's doors was one that needed no introduction. So this car needs to have the precision and the instant response of the Speciale, and yet combine the fury and the drama that came from the Ferrari F40. So, the technicalities. This 3.9 litre twin turbocharged flat plane crank V8 produces 661 horsepower between 6,000 and 8,000 RPM. Torque is a monster 561 pounds-foot, fundamentally delivered as early as 3,000 RPM. curb weight is class expectant 1400 kilograms, allowing the 488 to hustle to 60 in sub 3 seconds. What's most impressive is its pace to 124, just 8.3 seconds. That's staggering speed. Its performance, in fact, is greater than the sum of its parts, coming within 1 second of the McLaren P1's lap time at Laguna Seca in the hands of Randy Pobst. Now that we've dealt with the attributes and the performance of the 488, its actual specs are something that shouldn't be glossed over too quickly either. See, the 488 starts at £184,000, but a £184,000 car would look very different to the one that's shipped in Assetto Corsa. This is a well-spec'd car. It's one that would have tilted the page at over £250,000. Rosso Corsa paint, 20-inch forged alloys, carbon diffuser, Daytona seats, Sabia interior trim with special piping, carbon fibre driving zone with LEDs in the wheel. You get the idea. There's a lot going on in this spec. I think it's time to get out on these roads and get some impressions. Let's talk about performance, pure performance. This car's got bags of it. It's savagely fast. I mean, it's really properly fast. The engine, mighty. Gearbox, ridiculously fast. And this chassis, it's just so balanced. Sound. What do we think of the sound? Still got that flat plain crank whop that you expect to hear in a Ferrari, that really distinctive note. It's just absurd how it manages to balance this amount of power and torque all the time. It's crazy. In fact, this car's actually got 50% more downforce than a 458 on these canyon roads. It really shows. The front end grip is really surprising, especially when you consider that there's no big wings, there's no canards, there's nothing externally generating all of this downforce. I think they've done most of the downforce work on the floor plan of the car. All of this stuff taken straight through from F1. I guess it just allows the car to remain objectively pretty in most people's opinion. The brakes deal with this savage pace really well, and they should, to be fair. These carbon ceramics come straight off of a Ferrari LaFerrari. Well, actually, that's not strictly true. They're actually the same specification, which, they're still immense for a production road car. Had the traction on, which clearly I don't here at the moment, you'd benefit from side slip control system version 2. It basically sets the slip angle and manages the E-diff to be able to give stability through the magnetic dampers. And to be honest, that's where the version 2 comes along. Magnetic dampers weren't a thing on the 458 Speciale. That's what comes through to this. I can imagine that the real car must ride amazingly, just like the McLarens with their magnetic dampers. Balance is just ridiculous. It's like driving a 660 horsepower MX-5 GT86. Just so much balance. This car is a definitive example of the merits of torque mapping. In fact, it's got to be said it's a masterclass. Basically, each of the gears has got its own specific mapping, so it helps the turbos to work over just a massively wide operating window. They call it variable torque management, so gears 1 to 3, they've all got individual torque maps, and then a completely different range of maps get applied individually per gear to 4, 5, 6 and 7. And the results it's just blistering in its acceleration. You drive it as hard and as fast as you dare, and you just discover how even more magnificent it is the more you push into this car. And literally, this 488 makes you feel like you are some sort of driving god, when really I think most of it's got to be attributed to the car, because this is just awesome. Tracks like this make you want to lift entire cars out of other sims. There's a roster of cars and project cars too you want to just suck out and dump back into here, or to just take this whole track and dump it also into project cars. You should be able to have this kind of track everywhere. It's amazing. This car just feels full of energy. It picks you up and just punches you forward, it just doesn't let go. Is it as thrilling as the Speciale? Maybe because the sound, perhaps not. I like the sound, but maybe it doesn't make it as thrilling as the Speciale. Does it live up to the legacy of the Speciale, the F40? I think so. I think it does. This grip, the balance, Ferrari, Kunos, Ferrari, they've done something here. They've done a job on this one. This is a thing. What a thing. What a thing. So the LA Canyons are a phenomenal set of roads to drive on in any car at any speed. Yes, it's tight and twisty in lots of places, and yes, the driving experience is pretty intense, but the views out across the mountains are thoroughly spectacular. They give you hours and hours of driving entertainment. Better still, this track comes at a time when Assetto Corsa seems to be at the peak of its powers, offering varying times of day, climate, dynamic lighting, rain modifications and more. With an eclectic mix of road cars from just about every era, a lovely sense of rhythm and corners that feel truly connected to each other, this will remain an absolute peach to drive for a long time. Rumour has it that Phoenix 77 is looking to bring this same level of scale, class and detail to his Pacific Highway mod. So something tells me this isn't the end of the road for the greatest driving roads of Assetto Corsa. This is just the beginning.